The skeleton. It's an easily recognizable image, yet in the Middle Ages, the skeleton became the personification of death, one who chose its victims regardless of age, rank, or station, and confronted individuals from all walks of life. Death was an equalizer. It is not optional, and it is one that we must all face at the end of our lives. Dance Macabre, or Dance of Death, is a popular visual theme seen in murals, stained glass windows, manuscripts, poems, books, sculptures, and now movies from the late Middle Ages to now. Yet its origins continue to remain shrouded in mystery. The dance tends to appear during times of violence and war due to the nature of the deaths surrounding these events. Centuries later, composers such as Franz Schubert, Franz Liszt, and Camille Saint-Saëns were all inspired by the Dance of Death. The dance inspired director Ingmar Bergman in his film The Seventh Seal, in addition to Walt Disney's Silly Symphony Skeleton Dance. The heavy metal band Iron Maiden even produced an album using the themes of the Dance Macabre. All were influenced differently by a theme that gained popularity in the 15th century and continues today through multiple art forms, a testament to the theme's resilience. In 1194, Helena de Freudmont wrote a poem on death called Le Vers de la Mort, or Verse of Death. Helena's poem may be what inspired other artists to use the theme of death. In 1355, Francesco Treni painted a fresco titled The Three Dead and the Three Living. The fresco shows a dialogue between death and the three kings of the earth, in which the dead state, "Whatever you are, we are. Whatever we are, you will be." It was around this time the Black Death hit Europe and most likely inspired the fresco. Jehan Lefebvre's 1376 poem, Respire de la Mort, had the earliest known use of the Dance of Macabre. The lines of the poem read, "I did the dance of Macabre, who leads all people to the dance, and who addressed them at the grave, that is their last abode." It wasn't until 1424 when the dance would re-emerge. An unknown artist painted a mural at the cemetery of the Holy Innocents in Paris titled La Grande Danse Macabre des Hommes et des Femmes. This mural is believed to be the first visual representation of the Dance Macabre. The mural depicts 31 partners, the living alternating with skeletons, showing the hierarchy of the time, from pope to infant, in a dance with death who guides them to their destination. However, the mural was destroyed. In 1485, Guy Marchand translated the frescoes, text and composition into woodcuts, which were then copied and published. After, the Dance of Skeletons began to appear all over Europe. Although it is uncertain why there are 5 decades between Lefebvre's poem and the mural at Holy Innocents, in which there is silence regarding the theme of Dance Macabre, it became a significant theme in the 15th century, especially given people's obsession with death. The Dance of Death artistically adapted to the Black Death for a couple of reasons. First, death came for all regardless of rank or age, just as the plague killed indiscriminately. Second, according to John Aberth, author of The Black Death, in some versions of the dance, death is a chess player, which seems to express the arbitrary and unpredictable nature of the plague's geographical behavior. In 1523, Hans Holbein the Younger created a series called The Pictures of Death and the Alphabet of Death, with the help of a woodcutter named Hans Lutzelberger. Prior to Holbein, dances were seen on a much larger scale. Holbein's Pictures of Death were the first to adopt the theme of a smaller scale. So small, in fact, that they were around the size of 4 postage stamps arranged in a rectangle, 65 by 48 millimeters. The size makes these woodcuts even more impressive given their intricacies. Although most artists of his time depicted death in their artwork, none were as thorough as Holbein, making him the most famous artist on the theme. Holbein's dance reflected on the meaning of life and social inequality through understanding death differently, and in his time, was a distinct form of social commentary. Unlike the other murals on the dance that were accompanied by verse, Holbein's woodcuts were individual pieces that told their own story without any verse, leaving his vignettes open to interpretation. Holbein begins his vignettes telling the story of Adam and Eve. The first three depict Adam and Eve's creation, their temptation, and their expulsion from paradise. It is not until their expulsion that death appears, telling us that death is the consequence of Adam and Eve's sin. The next one shows Adam tilling the soil while Eve breastfeeds Cain, who grows to kill Abel and becomes the first agent of death. The remaining vignettes represent 4 distinct social groups: 10 figures of the clergy, 11 figures of secular rulers and aristocrats, 7 figures representing a range of professions, and 3 images of an old woman, an old man, and a toddler. In these scenes, death comes to the victims in their own surroundings while performing the duties of their daily lives. When seen in its entirety, the series elaborates that death levels all. By 1820, the dance came to America through the artist Rembrandt Peale and his painting The Chord of Death. However, the theme was not popular among new settlers who were trying to survive during this period. At the same time, Spanish painter Francisco Goya witnessed the French invasion of Spain and recorded what he saw, creating 82 etchings of the Dance of Death in a series titled Los Desastros de la Guerra, which conveys the tragedies of the violence that he witnessed. 1874 brought us the tone poem Dance Macabre, written by the French composer Camille Saint-Saëns. The poem is based on a French poem by Henri Cazalis about an old Halloween superstition. In 1980, PBS adapted the poem into a short cartoon based on the poem of Saint-Saëns. The piece has never waned in popularity and can still be heard in movies, shows, and even commercials today. As we come upon the 20th century, it's a wonder why the theme of death in art has not been more prevalent, considering this century has experienced its fair share of wars and violence. Within the 20th century alone, there have been revolutions and the rise of Hitler, death camps in Germany and gulags in Russia, Hiroshima, the Vietnam War, terrorism, abductions, tortures, executions, drugs, crimes, and the list can go on. In 1913, lithographer José Guadalupe Posada created the Calavera de Don Quixote. Posada's cartoons and calaveras continue to be an inspiration throughout Mexico and is considered a Mexican dance of death. World War II sadly provided many opportunities for an artist to express their own dance of death. In 1946, George Zelezinski, a former Auschwitz inmate, created graphic documents of the Holocaust that came out of a portfolio of 24 drawings titled Images of Horror, completed right after the camp's liberation in 1946. They were the most moving drawings. In 1966, Mauricio Lazansky published his art series titled The Nazi Drawings. As Fritz Eichenberg states in his book Dance of Death, a graphic commentary on the dance macabre through the centuries, Lazansky's drawings are a savage indictment of organized death in Nazi uniform, burned into our memories with relentless rage and great artistry. In 1980, Fritz Eichenberg created 17 wood engravings and verses of the Dance of Death that were influenced by his obsession with the theme. Eichenberg's prints address the social and political issues that are occurring within our own time. One such piece, titled Child Care Center, shows military, adults, and skeletons teaching children about the war and how to shoot guns. The accompanying texts speak about using toys as a means of teaching kids how to kill each other to protect their freedoms.
As they dance with the dead, the free spirit was happy, and how it can be.
In 2003, heavy metal band Iron Maiden released their 13th album titled Dance of Death. Their title concert included theatrical elements which involved the lead singer, Bruce Dickinson, dressing as the Grim Reaper. The album's title track was inspired by the Seventh Seal. In 2018, heavy metal band Ghost released their album Prequel. The theme was centered around medieval times, especially during the Black Death, but it also relates to modern times. The theme can be heard throughout the album. Their second single off the album was titled Dance Macabre, a song about the plague and how people would live their life to the fullest until they died. In 2013, British composer Thomas Adès created the 40-minute composition called Totentaz, based on an anonymous text that emerged in a 15th century frieze in St. Mary's Church in Lübeck and was destroyed in World War II. It depicted Death dancing and inviting people to join him. Each verse of the Totentaz represents one person in the mural. Throughout various films, the theme of death is seen in artistic ways. Disney, who gave us the skeleton dance, is no stranger to the imagery of the skeleton. The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride, and more recently, Coco, all feature skeletons and death. They can be considered this generation's depiction of the dance of death. However, it is unclear if that is the intent. In literature, author J.K. Rowling wrote a story within her book, The Deathly Hallows, called The Tale of the Three Brothers, which tells the tale of Death, who visits three brothers and grants them each a gift. The three brothers in this tale can be compared to the three living who represent power, beauty, and wisdom in Trainee's fresco. One brother was granted a wand more powerful than the others. One brother was given a stone, which was used to resurrect a woman he loved. And one brother, the wisest, asked for something that will allow him to go without death following. Death is the most unknown aspect of life. We know nothing of where we go or how we will leave this world. It is through the dance that people try to make sense of life and death. It is a theme that will forever fascinate people and will continue to evolve as the years go on, just as they have done in the past. We must all face death. How will your dance look?